gentleman sitting next to you said that because the Justice Department is defending the president in civil litigation, that this becomes a controlling opinion over employees of the government in the United States. Is that correct?
I believe he may have been talking about the Office of Legal Counsel as its opinions involve this issue ongoing. I'm unaware of any OLC opinion directly on this situation, although they are notoriously private.
And for it to be binding, it would have to be an official opinion, not involved in pleadings in a civil lawsuit.
I think so, but I also think the problem is that when the GSA initially decided not to look into this issue, the Department of Justice wasn't involved in any ongoing litigation on it.
That's a very good point. I mean, GSA has its own counsel. They say, well, they certainly couldn't handle that. Why wouldn't they ask the Office of Legal Counsel for an opinion?
I think that's a great question, and I think the Inspector General report highlights an instance 20 years ago where they did exactly that when the question involved members of Congress rather than the president.
Yeah, Mr. Schaub, did you because you also talked about GSA and dereliction of duty and not asking that question. Could you want to expand on that a little bit? Mike, I don't think your mic's on, or get closer or something.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
They had a duty to consider the issue. First of all, they swore an oath to uphold and support the Constitution. Second of all, courts have ruled that an agency's failure to even consider an important issue renders its action arbitrary and capricious. So that means that they haven't done the basic thing that agencies do to evaluate a problem. They just simply punted. They decided not to address it.
Well, of course, we don't know what was in the General Counsel's legal opinion, which led to the estoppel by the career employee who shortly after the election was corresponding with Ivanka Trump and saying this is all nonsense, there's nothing wrong with this lease, and by the way, I want to tell you about my trip to New York and let's have coffee. Is that normal behavior by a contracting officer of the government of the United States dealing with the daughter of and or ultimate beneficiary of this?
Yeah, that's not normal for any government official. I spent years of my career working with presidential nominees, and I never once asked any of them out to coffee.
I think there's a different attraction there for him, but this employee. Mr. Foster, I don't know if you can answer this or not, but again, the gentleman sitting next to you alleged that because the Department of Justice has made pleadings in a civil litigation case, that becomes a binding legal opinion upon employees of the United States government.
Thank you for your question. I can't speak to the legal impact of the Department of Justice's pleadings. I do agree that generally formal opinions of the Office of Legal Counsel within the Department of Justice are binding within the executive branch unless or until they're overruled by the Attorney General or the President.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Meadows?